So, I guess I should formally start. Today's the 16th of October, and we were looking at promissory notes last time, and I'll bet I did forget to put any homework out there. But that's all right. We'll do that.
Well, you did not hurt our feelings.
Oh, that makes me feel a lot better. I'd be crushed if I hurt anybody's feeling. So the whole big deal with promissory notes, we also looked at treasury bills. The whole big deal is, well, we looked at discount notes. The thing with a discount note is that the interest is subtracted from the principal, and whatever is left is the proceeds. And if you're getting a loan, that's what you get. If you're buying T-bills, that's what it costs to buy the bill, and then you get the face value of the bill back at maturity. So, everybody okay with those? Let's do this. Let's look at page 289, Learning Unit 11.2. There's a process, and I'm not sure even how much it's done anymore. Are you going to be okay? What are you doing now? Okay. I'm having trouble getting comfortable up here as well. These desks are not very comfortable. So let's look on page 289. There's another type of discount note, and I'm really not sure how much these are used anymore. If you read the fine print on page 291, at the top of the page, in that first paragraph, it says, also, instead of discounting notes, many companies set up lines of credit so that additional financing is immediately available. So the book leads you through this process, and then says, oh, well, we don't do this much anymore. But let's go through the process so you'll know what this is. So this is called discounting an interest-bearing note before maturity. And on the bottom of page 289, it tells you the process. Number one says calculate the interest, and then of course add that to the principal, get the maturity value of the note. Now, make a little note there. That step number one is not discounted. It's just a straightforward, simple interest calculation. Step two, calculate the discount period, and this is the time the bank holds the note. So here's what's going to happen. Let's pretend that I'm running a business and I'm selling, I don't know, what can I sell? How about I sell steel? You know, the kind you build stuff, the metal you build stuff out of. And let's pretend that D'Angelo runs a business that needs steel, and he wants to buy $10,000 worth of steel from me. And I say, well, sure, but I need you to sign a note saying that you're basically an IOU, that you're going to pay me for this steel. And maybe it's, I say, okay, I'll give you 120 days before you have to pay me, and I'm going to charge you 5% interest. Okay? Well, these are all things we can use to calculate what the interest is going to be at the end of 120 days. Now, suppose that after, 45 days or so, I really need some money. So what we're talking about now, this type of note, I would go to the bank with this note and said, now look, in 120 days, this is going to be worth whatever the $10,000 is plus the interest. That's what this is worth. But I need some money. The bank would say, okay, we will loan you money on this note, and the bank may charge 6% instead of 5%. And the discount comes in because the bank will say, well, the note's worth this at 6% for the remaining time period of the note, 45 days out to 120, ever how many days that is. That's how long the bank's going to have the note. The bank could calculate the interest and subtract that from the maturity value of the note. And that's what they would give me. Okay? So you can look at the original note as collateral. Although, if D'Angelo doesn't pay me, the bank's going to come looking to me for the money instead of D'Angelo. Okay? But that's the process. So let's do one. And I'll show you how this works. Let's go over to the end of the chapter and read. See if we can find ourselves a good problem to work. Let's see, Treasury bills. 1111 works, but I'd rather give you one that's not an odd number. Okay, look at 1114 on page 295. I think this one will work. Ron bought goods from Shelley on May 8th. Shelley gave Ron a time extension on his bill by accepting a $3,000, 8%, 180-day note. So that's the note itself right there. Make note of the time, May 8th. On August 16th, Shelley discounted the note. That means she took it to the bank at 9%. What proceeds does Shelley receive? So here's what we need to do. First things first, get my pen out. We want to calculate, let me do this, the maturity value. Let me move this down.
We're going to be in this paper.
We're going to need that. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Well, this is right. You're going to need your day of the year. So we're going to do page 1114, or number 1114 on page 295. So the principal of the note here was what, 3,000? R equals 8%. T equals 180 days. Now this is on, what was it, May the 8th? Yeah, May the 8th.
Which is 128.
Okay, hang on. We write everything we need down here. Note discounted at the bank August 16th at 9%. I think that's all we need there. So what we're looking for here is the proceeds. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. So first thing we're going to do here is calculate the maturity value of, I should add this, the original note. So the interest, of course, is the principal times the rate times the time. And I'm assuming here we're using ordinary interest, which means we're going to use 360 days. So 3,000 times 0.08, that's 8% converted to a decimal. And then here we're going to have 180 over 360. Okay, so that's the interest at the end of this time period. So, calculator. Clear 3,000.08 times the quantity. $180 divided by 360. Okay. So that's going to be $120. Now the maturity value is what? Mm-hmm. It's the principal plus the interest. Okay. So that's what the note's going to be worth at the end of 180 days. Okay. So that's step one. Now if you look back at that on page 289, the 1, 2 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is step one. Step two says calculate the discount period, which is the time the bank holds the note. So let's see here. What are we going to have to do to calculate that time? In this case, to find, I don't need that word. How about to find how long the bank will hold the note. First, find how long, who's got the note? Shelley holds the note, doesn't she?
So
Okay.
you figure up from May the 8th till when she took it in?
Yeah.
To the bank?
She took the bank
That's
April
100
6th, August 16th. This was signed for May the 8th. So those are our two dates we need to process here. So I always like to put the last date on top. So this is August 16th,
228 is your note.
228 for August 16th,
Yeah,
and May 8th was what?
128.
Is that what y'all got? Hello? Everybody, you gotta know how to do this. Everybody look it up. Everybody shake your head like a bobblehead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So,
That's 100 days. She had it. So the bank can have 80 days.
so Shelley has it 100 days. Bank will have it, by it I mean the note, 180 minus 100, and that of course is 80 days. Okay? Everybody see where we think your way through this. After holding this note 100 days, Shelley says, I really need some money. I'm going to go to the bank. So the bank agrees to give Shelley some money. And basically what we're doing here is figuring out how long the Shelley will have the bank's money before the bank gets paid. Okay, does everybody understand why we did it this way? All right, so now we can go back to 295, or what was that, and see what the next step was. And the next step is calculate the bank discount. Now, you can also add to that, this is the interest that the bank's going to charge. Okay? So I'll write that down here. Number 3, calculate the interest the bank will charge on a note of, now here you use maturity value. So it's 3120 for 80 days at 9%. Okay? That's what's going on there. So let's do that. Interest is PRT. Principal, 3120. Rate, 9% turned into a decimal, is 0.09. And here we're going to have 80 over 360. Calculator. Let me do this. I'm going to copy this over so you'll, when you look at the, I can remember where it's at. When you look at this PDF, you'll see what we did. There you go. Now I can clear that out and start over. Clear. So here we're going to have 3120 times 0.09 times the quantity, 80 divided by 360. Close the parentheses, press enter. And let's do well, I think we can do two things at once here. What'd y'all get? 6240. 6240?
I looked at it wrong. I do that sometimes.
Is what y'all got? Hello? Okay. Now, this is the interest the bank's going to charge. So now look back at that list of steps. Step 4, calculate the proceeds. So let's do that. So step 4 here, let me scoot this up a little bit. Step 4, calculate, if I can spell, the proceeds by subtracting the interest the bank will charge. And that's step 3. From the maturity value of the original note. And that was step 1, wasn't it?
Yep, 3,120.
So let's see here. proceeds equals 3120 minus 6240 equals, calculator, 3120 minus 6240. Press enter. What'd y'all get?
$3,057.60.
Let me copy this over here. Okay. Now let's think about this a minute. If Shelley had kept the note for the 180 days at 8%, she would have got, of course, her $3,000 plus $120 in interest. Now, down here, she's getting her $3,000 and $57.60 worth of interest. Okay, now the difference is the bank is going to get the other part of the interest because the bank's got their money on the line for 80 days at a higher rate. So if down here you come up with, Shelley's going to get like $3,500, well, that ain't going to work, guys, because she was only supposed to get $3,120 if she'd held the note for the 180 days. Okay, so everybody see the process here? Just go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I actually like my English.
It's quite easy with you here, Romans.
Well, and I try to put it in English. I try to elaborate on the steps and tell you what you're really doing. They're not bad. You want to do another one? See if we can find another one here. An even. 1116 looks like it might work. You think? I think. Let me get another sheet here. So 1116. So Scott accepts a note. It's $8,000. %. Gosh, that's pretty serious, isn't it? How many days? 90 days. On what day? May the 12th. Okay. On June 12th. Note is discounted at some bank at 10%. And we need to find the proceeds. Okay? Everybody ready? So step one, we want to find the maturity value. That's what we're looking for. So first we have to find the interest, don't we? Let me put the whole formula there. PRT. So we've got 8,000, and our rate is 12% expressed as a decimal, which is 0.12. That's pretty high interest, isn't it? It is nowadays. I think a lot of these problems were written in the 1970s or something. Although interest rates are going up. And then our time here is going to be 90 over 360. And those are in days, so they cancel out. By the way, this 12% be 12% a year. If this was a year-long note, that's what you would get. Since it's not a year, that's why we have this fraction 90 over 360. Okay, does everybody see why we do that? So, calculator. Clear. 8,000 times 0.12 times the quantity, 90 divided by 360. Where's there? So it looks like to me that this is going to generate $240 worth of interest. Okay. So the maturity value is 8,000, which is the principal, plus the 240, isn't it? So I'm going to add 8,000 to that. So did everybody agree here that the maturity value is 84.20?
8240?
Yeah, 82.40. I'm just checking y'all out, see if you're paying attention.
Get tired too, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm just checking y'all out. All right, everybody okay with that? All right, so step 2 was what? Yeah, we gotta get our times right, don't we? How long will the bank have the note? So to do that, first you're going to find how long does, who's this? Scott. So we have to find that out first. So the date he went to the bank was June the 12th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The date he accepted the note was May the 12th. Y'all look that up while I see why my phone dinged. So what's June the 12th?
163.
May the 12th?
132.
So let's see, looks like 31 days. So this is Scott. So it's a 90-day note. Bank. And I'm just writing it here, so I think y'all understand what it is. 90 minus 31 equals what? 59? Is that what that is? Is that right?
What was the question? I was looking at something.
It's a 90-day note. Scott kept it for 31 days.
31 days, that looked 59.
59 days. Okay, so that's step number 2. All right, step 3 was, what was it, step 3?
So you take the 8240 times whatever the interest is times 59 over 360.
Yeah, we have to calculate the bank's interest is what we're doing. So calculate the bank discount, which is actually interest, isn't it? Okay. So interest equals P RT, and our P has become 82.40. And what was our interest rate? 10%, I think. Oh, the bank's going to charge us less interest. Well, good for them. I find that hard to believe, but we'll go with that. For 59 over 360 days. So, calculator. Let's see. I like it when the calculator cuts off just as I'm getting ready to punch a key. 82.40 times 10% times the quantity, 59 divided by 360. Okay, press enter. So if I'm right here, the bank's interest for those 59 days at 10% is going to be $135.40.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come up with.
I should copy this over, I guess. All right, everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
So the proceeds is going to be equal to the maturity value of the original note minus the bank discount, which we know is actually interest. So let's see, this was 82.40 minus $135.04. So the proceeds is going to be clear 82.40 minus 135.04. Press enter. Good. I got $104.96. Let me copy that over. Okay. Now, of course, you got to read carefully. This was those rare cases, I think, reading the problems that I've read, where the bank charged less interest than we charged originally ourselves, or Scott did. You just have to read carefully because they know the two interest rates do not have to be the same. Okay? Okay, y'all okay with that? Well, let's go back and pick up a something I missed. Well, I knew it was there, but I didn't cover the first time. This is all the way back in chapter 8. So go back to chapter 8. There's a couple things here we didn't talk about, one of which I'm still skeptical about. On page 224, they talk about break-even analysis. I'm I don't think this is going to make any sense in the context of this class. So, but I'm still pondering on that. What we can do on page 222 is talk about pricing perishable items. Because several of you are in the culinary program and you might want to go sell cupcakes one of these days, and you need to know how to do this. It's pretty simple. So let's talk about this. So if you're looking at pricing perishable items, one thing you want to remember here is you're not looking at just one item. You know, you're looking at, okay, I'm going to make 3 dozen cupcakes, and maybe I don't sell, you know, a half a dozen of them. Okay? It doesn't make any sense to talk about perishable if there's only one thing. Okay? So keep that in mind. Because that's pretty much the first thing you have to do is figure out the total value of all the things that you're looking at. And once you come up with that dollar figure, depending on how you are calculating your markup, you simply deal with it like the other types of problems that we've had in chapter 8. I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. Now, your final thing is here, what you did is, first thing you do is total value of whatever it is. Then figure the markup on the total of all the things you're looking at, or how many dozen it is, or whatever. And then you figure out how many you anticipate you're actually going to sell. You divide that number into the total value of it, and then you find out what you got to price them at. So let's see if we can find a problem here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Let's look at 816, and that's just one of those. It's a problem that you basically fill in the blank holes. It's not in the form of a word problem, although really what they've done here is just pick the words out and wrote down the absolute minimum you need to know. So 816, page 230. Okay. So we're told here we're in the brownie business. My son likes brownies. I'm actually more of a fudge person myself. I make killer fudge. Yeah, I'm legendary. Seriously. Somebody asked me today why I haven't made any fudge this year.
Are you making some for Christmas? Around Christmas?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you going to bring some?
I hope so. Y'all keep reminding me.
Chocolate or peanut butter?
Chocolate. And I put walnuts in it, typically. I want to develop a white chocolate, which white chocolate's not really chocolate, but I love white chocolate. Okay? I'd probably eat the whole thing myself. Anyway, who doesn't like nuts? Well, there have been people here that ate it and just spit the nuts out. Okay, yeah. All right, let's work this problem here. So we're in the brownie business, and looks like we're in the retail brownie business. We bought 20 at 79 cents a piece, and we're going to sell them, but we want a 60% markup based on cost, and we figured that maybe of the 20 nice brownies that we bought, we might lose 10% of them. You know, somebody doesn't buy them, or maybe we drop one or something. Yeah. How many people subscribe to the 5-second rule? It doesn't.
I got 5 kids. I got to do this.
Well, I think the Mythbusters proved the 5-second rule doesn't work, but I really don't have that much against dirt myself. Okay.
God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt.
Well, I grew up on a farm. Okay. Everything we did was in the dirt. Okay. So if you're too finicky about things. It's going to be a long day, okay? It really is. Now, if a bug flies in my mouth, I will try to spit it out. I don't like bugs in my mouth. Okay, I do draw the line at bugs. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do first. We first need to find the total cost of the brownies. And I'm not going to write down all the particulars here, but we bought 20 brownies and they cost 79 cents a brownie. Okay, and I wrote it like that because this is going to cancel out. I'm going to be left with money. Okay, so let's see how much that's going to cost us. And this is wholesale.
$10.80.
20 times 79. Y'all get 1580? Okay. Now, we're told here we want 60% on cost. Now, it's been like, I don't know, 10 days. Actually, it's been 12 days since we did anything like this. Probably more than that. So what are we going to do? We're going to look back in our book and find the formula. So we want a markup on cost. And let's see. So remember how this works. Let's see, the selling price equals the cost plus the dollar markup. Okay. Now, what are we trying to find?
Formula, which is right here.
Yeah, well, we want the selling price, don't we? The selling price equals cost, and we want 60%. Got too big a hurry. We want a markup of, and this is not going to be a dollar, but it's going to be a percentage markup of 60% on cost. So we need a formula that has cost and then percent of cost, don't we? So did y'all find one? S equals what?
Selling price equals cost divided by 1 minus percent markup on selling price.
Is that the only thing we can do?
I don't know. That was the one I thought.
Well, what about right above that?
The selling price?
I'm on page 226, that left-hand column,
No,
and there's,
27.
it's like the third little block down. S equals cost times 1 plus percent markup on cost. You know what we got?
Yeah.
Think so. So the cost is 1580 times the quantity 1 plus 0.60. Remember what the 1 is?
The whole.
Yeah, it's what you started with. Okay. It's, you know, it's the 1580. It's what it is. Okay. She comes back, somebody's got to let her in because the door's locked. We don't want somebody to come in here and shoot us all up. Okay.
Or maybe we do.
That would solve a certain amount of problems. Yep, it would. Of course, I learned this morning the first thing we're supposed to do is run. I'm sorry, I can't run. My best hope is to absorb several bullets, you know, before I go down. So, y'all run. Run hard. Run fast. And I literally will be at your back. All right, so let's plug in our numbers here. Already got the calculator, don't I? So that times 1 plus 0.6 is 1.6, isn't it? We can do that in our heads, can't we? Okay. I'm going to copy that over. Did y'all get 15? Let her in. Oh, she must have put something in the door. We could have We could have died while she was out there. All right, so that's the total amount we would like to get by selling these 20 brownies. Okay? So let me write this down. Selling price. We could add the word total here, couldn't we? Just remember that we've got 20 brownies. So this is, how much was it? 25, 28? There it is right there. Okay? Now, we're going to assume here that the percent that's going to spoil, I'm just going to write it as this. Assume 10% spoilage, or otherwise, maybe they got old, whatever. So, to figure this, the 20 we started out with times 10% is going to be how many?
2.
2 brownies. So does everybody see where the 2 brownies came from? Okay. Now, the total brownies we expect to sell is therefore going to be the 20 we bought minus the 2. Okay, does everybody see where the 18 brownies come from? Okay. All right, let me extend my page here. So here's what we're going to do now. The selling price per 1 brownie. Okay, so far I've been doing, the total number of brownies is going to be this. What was it? 25, 28 divided by 18 brownies, which is what we expect to sell. So do that. Divided by 18. So we need to price these at $1.40 a brownie. I'm actually going to price mine at $1.49 because there's something psychological about that 9. Okay.
Now you sound like Chef Ann.
Hmm.
Now you sound like Chef Ann. You sound like Chef Ann.
Yeah. Well, that's
True.
there's a lot of research on this.
That's what everything at the store is like.
I would assume, I don't know if we got one or not, that at least certain places you could take a whole class on retail. There's a fascinating amount of things that go on in a grocery store. Like, all the stuff they make the most money at is eye level. The bargains you got to work for. If you're like me, it's hard to bend over. But that's where the bargains are. And the stuff they put on the end caps, the end of the aisles, that's what they're pushing. And if you really watch, I do the shopping at my house. I've been shopping, buying groceries since I was, 10 years old. I like it. But if you watch the ads, you'll have regular price, regular price, regular price. Then it'll go down a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then really be on sale. My kids like L8s. I don't drink them anymore. But if you go watch Kroger's, every 5 or 6 weeks, you can get like 4 12-packs of cans for $12. Otherwise they're like $4.59 or something per, or maybe $4.99. So I never buy things on sale. It hurts my feelings.
And your pocketbook.
Yeah. Well, what I really like is Walmart. If you watch Walmart, it'll say price reduced, from $3.98, like potatoes, $3.98 to $3.50. Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago it was $3.50, and you raised it to $3.98, and then you turn around and blow your horn because you marked it down. Well, you marked it up first.
Right.
Okay? Anyway, there's a lot going on here. So did everybody see how we come up with $1.40? We bought them for 79 cents, but we want to make 60% on that markup. So we had to figure the total that we need to come up with to make that 60% on what we gave for them. Then we had to find out how many we thought we weren't going to sell, figure out what was left, divide that into what we calculated what we needed for the whole, the thing, for all of them to bring in, and we got our price point here. And of course, we're going to change that to $1.49 because we could do $1.39, but that just doesn't sound right, does it? $1.49 would be a whole lot better.
But did you say that psychologically you're more drawn to like prices that end in 9?
Yeah.
Because it seems cheaper?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. You could probably Google it and find out a whole lot more about this. There is a whole psychology of pricing things. And one of the things that I think is interesting, a lot of times if you're trying to give something away, people don't want it. They think if you're giving it away, it doesn't have any value. But if you charge them something for it, they think they're getting something. People are funny. Okay? All right. Let's call the dogs off. I'll see y'all on Thursday. We will, I'll try to find an old test and figure out from there whether considering our constraints, I doubt we go into the next chapter. We'll probably just try to nail down what we have here if you're going to test next Thursday.